Let's talk about some unique strategies that most people don't do so you can start applying and getting those interviews. Remember, we're not swimming along with other fish. Now, I'm going to show you some of my favorite tricks, and at the very end, my final trick, I think that's my favorite one. But hopefully, this way you stick around till the very end. First one is to Google everything. Google everything about the company you want to work for. Check their YouTube videos, any of their talks or conference talks, any of their press releases, any news about them. And this way, when you apply, you can reference a talk or a piece of work from someone from the company. For instance, you can say something like, hey, I'm applying after watching an inspiring talk by blah, blah, blah. This talk really showcased the company's values and they align with my values. I would love to be part of that. This is a great one to message and include in your cover letter. Or you can even try to email and connect with the speaker of a talk that the company gave on YouTube. Speaking of, attend company events. Look for public tech talks, workshops, or conferences where a company employees might be present. This is a great way to meet others and make connections with employees of that company. For example, at one of my old jobs, they used to have Friday socials, where after work, starting at 5 p.m., they would have beers and pizza, and you can just hang out. And people used to bring their friends and connections to those meetings, just to hang out, talk about tech, and connect with others. And many people got their way into that company through those Friday hangouts. You just have to find out about what the company does and what opportunities there are to meet people from that company. Now, we already talked about ways to get emails from people inside the company using some of the tools that I talked about in the Where to Find Jobs video. So once you find a way to talk to the employees, for example, if you went out for coffee with them, which by the way, I'm going to have a special video coming up about this, which is one of the most effective ways to talk to employees. But once you talk to an employee, again, as part of your cover letter or your application, you can say, after having coffee with Joseph, I've decided I need to work here. And that immediately gives you a connection to that company. You see, referrals are a cheat code in the job placement world. And the one benefit of having this strong network is having people who will put in a good word for you with a prospective employer. This is especially important at big tech companies or big companies that have a lot of staff. Now, we're going to talk more about this in an upcoming video. This is a bit of a sneak peek. Next one is to find their stack. And what do I mean by that? I mean to find their tech stack. The company you want to work for is using some sort of technology that you have a specific skill in. But you want to make sure you're aligned with that. Are they using Figma for designs? What programming languages are they using? Are they using AWS? The more you find out about the company, the better you can prepare your resume, your cover letters, to make sure that you have the skills necessary to impress them. Now, one tool that I like for this is StackShare. Now, you can go to the company profile, you can go to a company's GitHub and find their tech stack. But StackShare actually gives you the tech stack, the apps that big companies are using. So you can search for the company that you want to apply for, maybe it's on this list, and find out exactly the tools that they're using. And this way you can customize your message and your interview when the time comes with their exact needs and skills. Now, once you find their tech stack, there's actually another cool trick that's kind of similar to this, and that is to solve one of their problems, literally. Analyze their product, their service, and identify an issue or opportunity and send them a brief solution to that. And this shows initiative and the value that you can provide to them. Let me give you a story. One of the first employees at ZTM, and he's with us still after many years, and he was the first developer hired here at ZTM. His name is Matt. And Matt was a ZTM student, just like you, just starting out. But he started working for ZTM before he even had a job. He just started doing stuff. solving some of my problems, sending me messages and saying, hey, I set up this Discord server for you. Hey, I did this for you. I did this for you. It was a no-brainer for me that I wanted to hire Matt before I even wanted to hire anybody. And he was one of the first employees here at ZTM because he just solved one of my problems. I didn't even have to interview anybody else. He already showed me that he solves problems, that he makes my life easier. And most people that have been hired at ZTM have just shown initiative and solved one of our problems. And afterwards, they just got the job before there was an application process. We just had to interview them because they were already so good and they demonstrated their value. So find a problem that a company has. Maybe they have a bug in the code. Maybe they have an issue on their website, and fix it for them. All right, now we're going to get into a few more tricks, and these ones are a little bit wackier. But the more wacky they are, the more they're going to help you stand out. They might be uncomfortable, but they're really effective. And this one is one of the most effective. Just show up. That's right. Seriously, just show up at their front desk with a resume in your hand and say, hi, I'm here for an interview for this position. Now, first of all, that takes a lot of guts. But the person at the reception probably doesn't know about an interview being scheduled, especially if it's a big company. But maybe they'll contact the person that's in charge of interviews for that role. They'll say, hey, so-and-so is here at the front desk for an interview. Literally just show up for an interview without having an interview scheduled. Now, this might sound bold, but how many people do this? And you'll actually be surprised how well this works. As a matter of fact, I applied for a TV show once, and I just showed up with my application in my hand. And I got to meet the producer of the show right there and there without having to go through my application because I was just there. Yes, it's bold. Yes, it might be uncomfortable, but it really works. And even if you fail a couple of times, if one of it works, isn't that successful? All right, another one is Your First Issue. So this is a really cool website. This is called Good First Issue. So you can find all these open source projects that have open issues that are really, really easy to solve. So this is a great way for you to contribute to an open source project and say that you're a contributor to a big project. For example, if you're applying for, let's say, a React.js role as a React developer, and you contribute to the actual React codebase, and most of these technological stacks are open source, if you say, hey, I've contributed to the React project, that's really impressive. And that's actually a very easy way for you to put something impressive out there. You want to contribute to the Ethereum project? Well, here it is. So this website has a ton of open issues that are really easy to solve that you don't even have to be a genius to contribute. So I'm going to link to this website that you can use to have that little edge. All right, 2 more to go. Another one, this is a nifty little trick, is to literally become a freelancer. Now, these last 2, Your First Issue and Become a Freelancer, it's more of an experience trick, how to gain experience when you don't have any. But while you're looking for jobs, just become a freelancer. When you're a freelancer, you're kind of your own employee. So nobody really checks how well you did or how much work you did. Today, if you decide to be a freelancer, you have started as a freelancer. So it's kind of a cheat code for experience. You can say that, yeah, I've been freelancing before I started applying to jobs. And that automatically gives you an edge or an experience saying that you've worked with clients. Now, obviously, you should work with clients. You shouldn't lie on your application and resume. But you can use tools like Upwork over here to create a profile and say, hey, I'll do some work. And yeah, maybe you won't charge a lot so you can get your first couple of clients. But this is a cheat code to have experience to put on your resume to get those interviews. And we even have a complete guide to freelancing course here on ZTM that you can take. I'll show you how to set up an Upwork profile, how to become a freelancer, and start getting those jobs. This is one of those tricks that you can use to really show experience before you get hired by a company. Very easy to do. And just like the first issue, it's a great way and a very easy way to gain that experience and impress potential employers. All right, so these are some of my favorite tricks that I think are the most effective. There's a few more that I'm going to show you throughout this section, but this next one is one of my newer tricks, and it's actually really, really good. And that is to brainstorm with AI. Let me show you what I mean. With AI tools like ChatGPT and Claude, you can just brainstorm ideas of how to get more interviews. For example, let's say I have this company, G Adventures, which is a travel company in Toronto. It actually used to be a company that I dreamed of working when I was in my 20s. Well, I can ask Claude, say, hey, I want to apply to G Adventures in Toronto. What's the best way for me to apply and stand out from the crowd? Let's see what it comes up with. All right, so I have a couple of ideas here from Claude. Doesn't sound that great. Can you be more creative? I'm going to ask it to be more creative. All right, so I actually have a better answer now. Create a travel portfolio. So again, based on the role that I want to apply to, I could probably customize this prompt. But you have somebody to bounce off ideas and be creative with how you might want to apply. For example, I actually applied to this company way back in the day when I was younger. And before there was AI, and my resume, I made it look like one of their travel brochures with experience, with how much fun the trip is going to be. And by the trip, it was like the journey of hiring me. And I made it look exactly like one of their brochures. I was really creative with it, and I was unique, and I stood out. And I did end up interviewing with them because of my application. So there you have it. A couple of tricks, a couple of my favorite tricks to increase that success rate. We've got more though. So I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.